I'm 33 years old. I'm doing site surveys and I'm dog sitting for $70 a day. My family thinks I've lost it. Friends keep asking when I'm getting a real job. And here's what I tell them: I'd rather be broke building my thing than comfortable building someone else's empire. Because most men spend their entire lives building someone else's dream. And that they don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. And if you've ever felt like you're currently on autopilot just doing what you're supposed to do, but you also feel empty, well, this is your wake up call. You see, here's the script that society gives you: go to school, get a degree, land a good job, climb the ladder, and retire at 65. And then maybe, just maybe, then you get to live your life. You see, I followed that script for years. Sales, started off doing warehouse jobs, factory work, all that sort of stuff. Corporate sales, digital strategist, marketing, car sales. I've done a whole bunch of shit. Looks great on paper, but here's what no one tells you: you can have the title, the salary, the security, and you still feel like you're dying inside because you're spending, what, 50, 60 hours a week building their vision, making them rich, solving their problems. And at the end of the day, you go home with nothing left for your dreams. You see, September 2024, I got made redundant. And you know what the worst part was? I wasn't upset about losing the job. I was upset that I'd wasted years convincing myself if it was what I wanted. So, I started applying for jobs, updated my resume, went through the motions. And then one day I'm sitting there looking at all these job descriptions, all the same corporate jargon, the corporate speak, same structure, same trap. And I just stopped. I just thought, if I take another one of these jobs, I'm choosing someone else's dream again for the third time, the fourth time, or in my case, probably the 20th time. And I just couldn't do it, right? I just couldn't do it anymore. So, you know what I did? I made a decision. I'm betting on myself, even if it means being broke, even if it means looking stupid. Because, here's the real truth that most men never face: being broke is temporary, but being stuck, you see, that's permanent. And I'd already rebuilt myself three times before: age 19 to 20, which was my body, went from overweight to jacked; age 22 to 23, social skills, went from awkward to confident; age 32, 33, well, more so, yeah, age 30 was probably when I hit it. Purpose. I peaked at 110 kilos, got myself down to 80, went from obese to lean, muscular, strong, well rounded. I was doing marathons, found my faith, and every time I just had to lose myself first and then build one thing and then go deeper. That's the pattern. And rebuild number four, that's wealth, financial freedom on my terms. Not a salary, not a paycheck, my empire. But here's what choosing your dream actually costs. January 2026, like this month, right now, I'm broke. No consistent work, questioning everything. And my mate actually texted me after the New Year's period or the New Year's holidays. And he said, "Hey, bro, need someone to dog sit once a week. I could pay you $70 a day." And my first thought, nah, man, I don't do that shit. This is beneath me. I've done so much more than this. Now, I don't have a degree, but, I've run corporate strategy before, built a lot of things online, sold a lot of things on the phone as well. right? I used to do sales for majority of my career and eventually went into marketing. So, I should be doing something bigger. You'd think as well, right? But that's ego. That's pride. That's the trap. And then I just took a second, and then I just prayed, God, I need direction. I'm willing to do whatever you ask of me. And I just felt something. I felt him say, prove you're ready for stewardship by starting as a student. Humble yourself. I could have said no, could have kept my pride intact, but I said yes. And, within 2 weeks, a site survey gig showed up, right? My mate runs this fire company, and he just so happened to need someone in Melbourne to go to sites and do some work for them there. So the momentum started building, right? The ball started rolling, not because of the money, but because of obedience. See, God doesn't bless your comfort; He blesses your obedience, and that's the difference between living your dream and living someone else's. Your dream requires faith. It requires risk, humility. Someone else's dream, that's safe. It's predictable, it's comfortable, but it will kill your soul. So here's the pattern, most men miss. You trade time for money. That's obvious. But you're also trading your identity. And you probably didn't think of that. I know I didn't. You end up becoming the guy who works at X, the guy in department Y. And over time, you just forget who you were before the job title was given to you. I see it everywhere. Guys in their 30s, millennials, 40s, baby boomers, decent salary, decent life on paper, but there's just no fire in their eyes. They're not building, they're maintaining, just waiting for retirement like it's a finish line. And most of them, unfortunately, they'll never escape, right? Because comfort becomes this cage. The salary, the benefits, the lifestyle. You're essentially chasing what's the word? Yeah, Jones's theory or whatever. You're just chasing the next best thing. The golden handcuffs, yeah, you could say. And then look, before you know it, you're 50, you're 60, looking back wondering, what did I actually build? What's mine? And the answer? Nothing. So if you want to live your dream, here's what it takes. Number one, you have to be willing to look stupid. My family thinks I'm crazy, my friends don't get it, which is cool. I'd rather look stupid chasing my dreams than look successful living someone else's. Number two, you have to accept uncertainty. There's no guarantee, there's no safety net, there's no superannuation or 401k for you guys in the US. But what is certain? Spending 40 years building someone else's thing. Number three, you have to trade comfort for freedom. You see, right now I'm broke, but I wake up when I want. I work on what I want. I answer to no one. That to me, that's worth more than six figures. Number four, you have to trust the pattern. I'm learning to trade. It's new to me, right? Look, I've done investing before in the past, so I've got a little bit of, you know, I know a thing or two about a thing or two, right? I'm building content, filming these videos, doing editing, posting, all that stuff. I'm building different things. I'm doing survival jobs. Zero results yet, but I've done this, 3 times before. The pattern holds. Lose yourself, build one thing, go deeper, and repeat. And here's the truth. If you're working a job you hate, building someone else's vision, going through the motions, well, you're running out of time. Not because you're old, but because every day that you stay comfortable, the cage just gets smaller. The salary increases, the lifestyle inflates, the excuses get better. I know it firsthand. And eventually, you stop even thinking, You stop even thinking about your dream. And you tell yourself, this is just how life is, I guess. No, that's a lie. Fuck that. You know deep down, it's not how it's meant to be. So here's what I want you to do right now. Open your notes app, right? And then just write this down. If I died tomorrow, what would I regret not building? Don't overthink it. Just write up what comes in your mind. That's your dream. Not your parents, not society's. That's yours. And then ask, what's one thing that I can do this week toward that? Not quitting your job, not burning it down. Just one move. Because you're not broken. You're being rebuilt. And the man that you're becoming, he's on the other side of that first step. So again, the link's in the description, pattern test. You can find it. It, again, takes 2 minutes, 3 minutes, for those of you with a little bit of a slower internet connection. It's free, right? It shows you exactly what you need to do. It shows you which area to rebuild first. I'm in the trenches with you, and we will make it out of this. On my soul. Let's get it. Godspeed. Catch you guys in the next one.